our final part for the higher tier then, on standard form. How do we add and subtract numbers when they're in standard form? Well, one thing is we can simply just expand them out, convert them to their non-standard form, do the calculation and then go back. But there are simpler ways for some of the standard forms. So this example by here, 1.4 times 10 to the 2 minus 1.3 times 10 to the 2. One thing we can immediately see is that both of them have the same times 10 to the 2. They're both times 10 to the 2. So if you see that both the 10s have the same power, we can use a little trick here. We can simply do 1.4, take away 1.3 and keep the 10 to the 2 the same. So you just take away the two numbers and keep the 10 to the power the same. So if we do that, we get 0.1 times 10 to the 2. But this leads us on to another little problem. One we've seen before, but here's just a little reminder, is that there is no number on the left side of the decimal place, only a 0. So that 1, we need to move it to the left side of the decimal place, and the way to do that is to multiply it by 10. So you times it by 10, moving the 1 to the left side of the decimal place, because whenever you multiply by 10, it moves to the left. But because we've made the number 10 times bigger, we have to make the overall number then 10 times smaller. So we simply deduct 1 from the power of the 10. So because we moved the 1 to the left, we made the number 10 times bigger, and we don't want it 10 times bigger. So we take 1 away from the power, which will make it 10 times smaller and back to the original number. So in other words, 1.4 times 10 to the 2, take away 1.3 times 10 to the 2 is 1 times 10, 10. Okay, so in this example by here, 3.45 times 10 to the 3 minus 2.63 times 10 to the 2, we've got a little problem because the powers aren't the same. So I'm going to have to turn them into their normal form, do the calculation, and then turn them back. So the first job is to the 3.45, I'm going to move the decimal places 3 to the right, turning my number into 3,450. Because remember, there's an invisible 0 after the 5. My next job then is going to be to convert the 2.63. So I'm going to move the decimal place 2 places to the right, because it's times 10 to the 2, giving me 263. And now, remember your videos from long multiplication, long subtraction, sorry. We can simply take one away from the other to get us the answer we need. And I'll just run through this quickly, but we won't go into detail. We can't take away 3 from 0, so we borrow 1, becoming 10, take away 3, which is 7. We can't take away 6 from 4, so we borrow 1. The 4 becomes 14. 14 take away 6 is 8. 3 take away 2 is 1. And then 3 take away the nothing underneath, there is nothing there, stays as 3. So 3,187. But of course now we have to put it back into its standard form. So we look, right, there's 3 digits to the right of the first number. So we put the decimal place between the first number and the second number, 3.1 or 3.187, and we put that times 10 to the 3 because there were 3 numbers after the first number by here. And that's it. 3.45 times 10 to the 3, take away 2.63 times 10 to the 2 is equal to 3.187 times 10 to the 3. Note as well that I haven't gone through the adding here, but it's exactly the same principle. If the powers are the same on the 10s, you can simply add the two numbers together and then keep the power, the 10 to the power, the same. If they're not, then you're going to have to expand them, add them together, and then convert it back to standard form.